Credit to Rob Lanier, their coaching staff, and their players. Thought Rice came in here and played very well. Very disappointed, obviously, in the result of the game. And we could never truly get in a flow on offense, and I thought that affected us too much. We talked about that in the locker room. When it's not going your way offensively, and again, a lot of that is Rice and their defense, obviously, but you can't let it affect other parts of the game. And obviously, the numbers tell the story offensively in terms of percentages and whatnot, but you can't let that affect some of the other things that go into trying to win a ball game.
Coach, do you feel like the Temple game, was this a case of beating you twice in some regards?
Man, I know what, Steven, I didn't think that coming in for sure. I mean, obviously that Temple game stung, but the team responded really well. We were really focused after the game. On the bus after the game in Temple, I mean, we came back the next day. Guys came in the gym. On the off day, there was a hunger to get back and play, and you saw it in practice. I mean, to be quite honest, we had two really good practices where there was a pissed offness about the Temple game, but the energy and you can always tell with effort and execution in practice. You can see when guys' energy is and man, they had it for 2 days. So I didn't see that coming, but you know, I don't want to discount anything because I think it's a good point. But no, I think Rice came in here and played really well. And I think in the game, as I said in the opening statement, I thought we let our offense, Steven, really affect some other things, and that's tough.
When it came to getting offense going outside of CJ and RJ, how much of it do you think was execution on your side versus scheme on their side?
Well, we got a lot of the shots we wanted in the first half. Obviously, when you start going to pressing and trapping and trying to play fast because of the score, it's not as much execution. But our execution was actually really, we had 5 turnovers in the first half, really took care of the ball. Very first play of the game, obviously we have a design play, we get a shot at the rim. We had 2 other layups at the rim from 2 of our leading scorers, RJ and Jordan, design plays. CJ goes 8 for 13. The execution was there in terms of, but you got to make plays. You got to make plays. You know, I thought CJ played. I think it's tough. I mean, I think RJ played his heart out, but 5 of 17 is tough in terms of they were getting the ball out of CJ's hands with the traps. And the way you make a team a little bit more hesitant about trapping is if you can score off the trap, off the numbers on the backside. And we worked on that for 2 days. Very first time, CJ did a great job stepping through the trap. We skipped it. We get the shot we want. It doesn't go in. That's okay. But unfortunately, we were not able to make them pay. And 2 for 18, shooting 11% from 3, tells that story.
You know, with CJ and RJ just, commanding the ball a lot, just how they play. I mean, is it difficult sometimes just to get everyone else involved?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think we missed some shots that we got to make. Other guys got shots up too. Obviously, this is not a typical game for Jordan Riley. I would say you look at that. This is not Jordan's typical game. Probably one of the least effective games he's had in a very, very long time. And that happens on certain nights. But in terms of shot attempts, etc., that's what RJ has been doing. That's what CJ's been doing. If RJ goes 8 for 17 or 9 for 17, I don't think it's a thought.
Going off that too, Jan, he had several open looks, just didn't go down. Is that one of those things too? It's just, you even drew up some plays for him where he had the look you probably wanted.
Yeah, if you're watching the game, it's not by accident. We know we encourage Jan to hunt shots. He knows that. He's been really good for a stretch. I hope this is the only time he'll go 0 for 5 from 3 and 0 for 6 because we trust Jan. Shot it really well in practice the last 2 days. I wish I had the direct answer why he played 22 minutes. I wish I had the direct answer on why they didn't drop tonight because at least of those 5, 3 of them were shots that I don't think the opposing coaches would feel good about when your best shooter is getting an uncontested 3. And Sometimes it just takes one or two of those to go in to flip things. And that was what my point to start. I thought when we struggled shooting the ball early, I thought it affected some other things that we do pretty consistently, offensive rebound. And again, I know Rice was locked in to keep us off the glass as we were trying to be locked in to keep them off the glass. I mean, they had 11 offensive rebounds. We have 8. So we weren't able to go do things that we do when we don't shoot the ball well, which we haven't shot the ball at a high rate this season beyond the arc, but we've gone and got extra shot attempts. The other day versus Temple, we took 15 more shots than them. Today, the field goal attempts are even at 58. And we need those extra shots when we don't shoot the ball well. Or extra possessions, I should say.
You guys have been playing your best basketball probably over the last 2-3 weeks, maybe up until this last stretch. But I guess just how confident are the guys that you can just get right back to that?
I mean, I think it's a disappointed locker room. I think this team is a resilient team because we've had some other tough stretches and we bounced back, and I would agree with you. I think overall, even through Temple, we really played 40 minutes of pretty good basketball versus Temple, maybe as good as we have played all year in terms of execution and what we did. Again, I think go back into that game, not to relive it, but I think Jamal Mashburn is as good as any player in the league, and he's on the top 10 point guard list for the country in terms of best point guards in the country. I thought he was dynamic, and their team was, not just him. They had 4 guys really, really play well. But that being said, I thought from a game standpoint, to go in, a team that's undefeated at home, one of the upper echelon teams in the league in our second matchup, and really we controlled most of the game. We just couldn't close it out on the free throw line, and it goes to overtime, and they made 4 or 5 of their last threes of their last 6 attempts. So going into this game, there was a disappointment, but I didn't expect not to play a game where doesn't mean we're going to win the game, but we did not play up to the standard in our opinion, in my opinion. We didn't play up to our standard, and we're going to have to respond. In terms of confidence, no confidence, we're going to have to respond, and we talked about that.
We've seen Reed kind of step up every now and then. Where are you guys at with Sear right now, just in terms of his development and not getting a lot of run?
I think Reed has done a really good job in practice, and at this moment he has taken that spot. You can't have a rotation of 10, 11 guys playing, and rhythm is a big piece of it. And every game, when you're a guy like Reed right now, he's probably the 8th guy in the rotation, obviously. He's right at number 8. So there's some games like Tulsa, he plays 12, 13 minutes. The other game versus Temple, he came in. But C.J. Walker is a guy we're going to play through. He's a dynamic player that is doing a lot of great things. And I think Reed has done an excellent job. But there's not the minutes behind C.J. for Reed or Cal or Sear to have that many guys play. But that's every team across the country. If you guys are sitting in any post-game press conference across the country, there's going to be guys 9, 10, 11, 12 that don't see the court as much. And that's just where we're at with it right now. Sear works his butt off every day. He fights every day, but there's going to be a rotation. And I think our rotation the last 4 games has been pretty good in this stretch. And it just, we'll continue to compete.